Hi viewers. Today let's see case study of HBO on redesigning the HBO GO user experience. Before going to this video, I would request you to subscribe 5 Minutes Learning channel in YouTube and support me to post more such videos. Also by subscribing, you can keep track of my video updates. For your better understanding, I have enabled this video with English subtitles. Now let's move to the topic. At the outset, the creative process was constructed around the idea that the final design should not only represent a strong and visually stunning brand image, but to primarily increase the usability and immersiveness of prior HBO ventures in the VOD space. Many of the colleagues, who were HBO users, commented about the user experience problems with the platform. The team behind the project was set out to define a problem statement that explore with user experience research, and address during the design phases. The main goal is to improve the usability and immersiveness of HBO's browser-based streaming service, by addressing problems with search, browsing, and content personalization. The project team started by exploring the needs of the users. They did a research with predetermined problem statements in mind. They wanted to evaluate the complexity, and get closer to the desired goal of improved user experience. So they intentionally decided not to get in depth of technical problems, which could not be solved by design work. It was found that 78% of users use HBO GO to continue watching series and movies. 14% of users are using HBO GO for exploring new things, and remaining 8% of users uses them for other purposes. They also conducted an online survey. They got huge response from the Google Forms sent out to HBO GO users. This survey helped them to identify the users' usage patterns, and gather insights into the problems that surface in the platform. They made the following major observations from the survey. First, half of the respondents use HBO GO every day. Second, most of the usage is not content exploration, it's continuing where you left. Third, 52% do not use the My List function. Some because it's hard to use, some because they didn't know it exists. Fourth, users mostly depend on their memory to remember what to watch next, or to remember whether the continue watching feature is in fact showing them the correct episode. Fifth, most respondents don't use or didn't really notice the rating function. Then they performed the usability testing, asking a test group to perform specific tasks on the existing HBO site, which helped them to observe how the users operate. These tests also helped to find out the pain points in real time, and confirm the validity of our initial problem statements. They also used look-back technique to facilitate the testing, both face-to-face and remote, where one researcher will conduct the tests, while the other will note down the key observations, everything in real time. The tasks that was given to our participants are as follows. Saving a series to a watch later, without mentioning My List, to avoid bias. Finding out more information about a movie. Browsing for a specific type of content. Continuing watching the next episode in a series. Now let's dive deeper into how we addressed the core problems. One of the core problem is finding a way to continue watching of the users. Continue watching is the important task for HBO GO users. Leaving technical sync problems aside, continue section was difficult to differentiate from the rest of the page. So they decided to make the tiles stand out so they appear above the fold on a majority of computer screens. They also made it easier to play the next episode straight from the series page. Next problem is the platform's menu. The platform's menu structure was too complicated, with unnecessary levels and too many submenus. The old menu version had 3 main submenus, with even more tertiary levels. When testing the old version, it became clear that users have a hard time finding what they are looking for. Let it be actual content or user-specific settings. So, they took every element of the menu and printed them one by one. During the card sorting tests, the users were asked to group these items, and also give them a name. After a couple of sessions, it was obvious to group items in 6 main categories. Recommendations in home, movies, series, notifications, settings, and help. Also during testing, the users wanted My List to be at hand. Even though the My List feature is very popular in streaming services, currently it is almost impossible to find in HBO GO. While the platform is pushing generic content to the users. So they decided to make this functionality easily accessible from the main navigation and split into series and movies. They also discovered that watching series and movies are 2 completely different use cases. So they decided to split it into movies and series tabs. Next problem is regarding home screen. The old home screen consisted of a full-screen slideshow containing different offers. It was great for marketing purposes, since users would automatically choose from the recommended content. However, users were not engaging with the content as much as HBO would have liked it. They rarely opened the menu or navigated to different pages. So they created a home page with personalized content to improve user engagement. The editorial recommended section became much smaller and instead, they shifted the focus to the important content, continue watching, watch list, recommended for you, etc. So when users logged in, they immediately found the content they were looking for. In the old application, playing an episode took 6 taps to complete. The flow itself was not self-explanatory, and users often got lost in the flow, or couldn't find the episode they were looking for. Since this is one of the main use of the application, they wanted to make this user journey significantly shorter. Since users are more likely to scroll than navigate to new pages. So they created a layout for the series detail pages, where users would find seasons and episodes right under each other. Also they integrated a little help. The application remembers where the user left, so instead of 6 steps, users can now play an episode with a simple scroll and a tap. Thus, from this case study, we would have learnt how to go about user experience redesign effectively to improve the usability and immersiveness of the VOD space. Thank you all for watching this video. If you have not subscribed yet, please support me by subscribing 5 Minutes Learning channel in YouTube to keep in track of my new video updates.